So we start the new episode with some good news. Xavi Simons has been granted a work permit and he is going to move on loan to Manchester United with the optional future fee of 64 million. Now that does obviously sound a lot for a 21-year-old, but to be honest, in this market, it's actually very, very good, and he looks to be amazing. I really do think he'll be one of the best in the world, so I think it's a great deal. And if we look at the next signing, it's Goncalo Inacio signing for, let's find out, a total of something, 45 mil, but about 10 mil up front, which is obviously very, very good. If we look at our squad planner for both players, Inacio completes our centre backs and the four that we'll have hopefully for the rest of the series, all very young as well, which is good. And looking at our midfielders, you've got Bruno and Mason on the left, Kobe, Rabiot and McTominay there. So now we've got a third midfielder here in Xavi Simons that might even allow us to potentially get rid of McTominay, which, you know, I'm not necessarily against McTominay. I really like him, but I think for two midfield positions, having 6 different midfielders available is probably too much. I'd like 4 with maybe some other under 18s or under 21s like Daniel Gore coming through. So we could look to sell McTominay. We could also look to sell Rabiot. I mean, we picked him up on a free. He's got a £70 million clause. It's something to think about, but I think they are top signings. And I don't think we have much to do with our squad once that's in. We've thrown Harry Amass in. Now, he's impressed me over pre-season in real life and in the under-18 squad last year. So we'll let him play, but he's definitely a future option for us. We've sorted the midfield. We've got 2 wingers on both sides and 3 strikers with a potential 4th in, say, Joe Hugill as a youngster or something. But very, very good. The opening day of the Premier League is upon us and we have got Wolves to start it off. In the season preview, we are predicted to finish 5th. City are predicted to win the title, so it's up to us to upset our recent noisy neighbours. So after a 5-1 battering of those noisy neighbours, we are going into this game very, very confident, but we obviously can't get overconfident. We've got a few injuries in Anthony and Eriksen. Corinthians came in for Anthony for a loan to buy deal, but it just wasn't worth it. So we're going to wait till we can sell him and make some decent money. Having a look at the squad, we are going to go with Onana, Dalot, Guehi, Martinez and Shaw, Fernandes, Mainu, Rashford, Garnacho, Xerxes and Højlund. We're going to stay on positive. Actually, we're going to go to positive, see how we do there. On the bench, we've got Vitek, Wan-Bissaka and Inacio, Mount, Rabiot, Simons, Diallo, Sancho and Gyökeres. I'm going to swap those 2 around. So Inacio and Simons could get a start, who knows. Having a look at the opposition, it doesn't look like they've made any signings of note. So we should be winning this game. I'm actually going to take off all the instructions. Nothing interests me there. We've sorted out the squad selection and we are ready to get into the first game of the season. We're holding our shape quite well while we do press. We're not all going as a 4 or a 5-man press and getting silly, which I like, although we probably could use it as João Gomez has just scored to go 1-0 up against us. So, I mean, this happened in the Community Shield. We ended up winning 5-1. I've switched the replays to 2D Classic just so we can kind of see our shape. You can see that the attackers aren't really getting back, which I'm not overly bothered about. We just left too much space there and they scored to punish us, and we're going to have to absolutely hairdryer treatment these players. And yeah, I mean, we've got loads of highlights. We were barely any gaps in the speech and barely any gaps in this highlight. Amad Diallo wins it back. Højlund, can we link up a little bit more? I would like these players potentially shifting into an inverted role to push over a little bit more. Maybe that's something we ask them to do. Not necessarily put him in an inverted role, but maybe shift him inside with a player instruction, but that doesn't matter right now as Victor Gyökeres scores a great goal. Short on that left hand side, staying wide, maybe it is a good thing. Finds Rashford in the gap, who whips it in to Victor, showing Joshua Zirkzee and Højlund, who both weren't having such a great game, why he maybe should be the starting striker. Having that competition between the strikers is exactly what we need. And Victor's almost got another one, but he's definitely set up the second for Højlund. It might not go down as an assist for Victor, but he was definitely involved. Since he's come on, he has caused danger, and Amad Diallo too whips it in. Victor tries to win the header. He doesn't, but Højlund whips it in the back of the net with a strong head. A very, very good goal for us to turn it around in 4 minutes. And can we get a third to really put this game to bed? I do like to have my games in a more analytical view. You'll see, obviously, we're going to absolutely change this. I don't usually play a 4-2-2. I love the fact Mainoo's dropping in between the two centre backs. I would like my other, fullback a little bit more in, and I've said that twice. Will we invert our fullbacks? Will we put a player instruction on? And I also want one maybe in this hole, not necessarily all 5 in a line. Although in my sort of formation that I like in real life, I like a 2-3-5, a 5 across the front line, and that has proved handy as well, as Bruno Fernandes has scored the third to potentially put this game away for Manchester United. We have Mainoo dropping in that hole, allowing Guehi to go up, and we find Amad inverting as that inside forward to get that third. It's working so far. Diogo Dalot whips it into Bruno, and Bruno with his second of the game. Mainoo's partner, he's supposed to be next to him, but he's decided to push ahead, and it's worked out twice. So maybe we stick with the formation. It's foreign to me, but if it's working, do not change what isn't broken. 4-1. We were 1-0 down in the 75th minute. We'll make that quick change for Wan-Bissaka. You can just go on the left, mate. It doesn't really bother me at this point. But 4-1, a very, very good opening win for Manchester United. I was going to say top of the table. Tottenham just scored a 4th. But let's hope we can carry that form on. They're a top team. They've got some good talent. I'm expecting a tough game. But that's the only change that we've made, is Victor comes in as the pressing forward, Højlund as the deep line forward. Could be that we have 2 pressing forwards. I just like the mix between the two, but we are also on the balanced mentality. We've already had 4 shots apparently, and it looks like they're going to have 1. So a very, very feisty opening 7 minutes of the game. Shaw on the left-hand side, Rashford, great cross in, Garnacho and Victor. I think he's onside. I'm very, very confident here that ball went backwards. But Victor Gyökeres, I might just start calling him Victor, but he is unbelievable. Shaw whips it in. Garnacho's on. He's on. That's a goal. 1-0 to Manchester United. In these early games, we don't watch the friendlies, of course, so we want to see how we're working. Mainoo dropping in between the two is good. We've asked our fullbacks, just on player instructions today, to just sit narrow when the team has the ball, which you can see Diogo Dalot doing here. And it almost provides another central option, another centre mid, let's say. Shaw whips it into Højlund, and Rasmus Højlund makes it 2-0 to Manchester United. A great goal. Luke Shaw delivering the cross. Victor still in the build-up. He seems to be keen. You can see here where Dalot comes in to just cover that more central space rather than being out here like last game. That is exactly what we want him doing. Can he find that ball through? Fernandes, is he going to get it out wide? Rashford to Mainoo. Nice little football here. Slowed it down just a little bit more than I would have liked. But it ends up with Rashford, who makes a clear statement. If you want to take me off for Sancho, you can. But I'm getting my goal before I leave. And we're going to go ahead with the change. It's a great way to sign off for Rashford, to put us 3-0 up, to hopefully put that game to bed. And Rashford with a great finish, exactly what we want him doing, cutting in on that side, having a direct attempt at goal. And again, 3 goals for United. I think, what have we got so far? 5-1, 4-1, so far 3-0. Can we get a 4th? Can we this time keep Villa out? Kamara? No, we can't. That's the answer. Boubacar Kamara, who I think scored in the last game for Villa, or if he didn't, he had a very good rating because in the opposition instructions, he was by far their best player. And unfortunately, we concede again. Is it the gap between sort of the attack and the defence? Only 2 midfielders in there. Who knows? Sancho showing now Rashford. Whatever you can do, I can do better. I should be starting. The competition we have in this squad between the strikers, between the midfielders, between everyone is brilliant. As Mainu plays it back to Sancho. Sancho just whips it in exactly the same as Rashford. Our next game in the league is up against Ipswich. We've changed it up a little bit. We made a couple of changes in a game we expect to win. So Victor and Xerxes lead the front line. We had Diallo coming in on the right wing instead of Garnacho in an inside forward role, and we've also brought in Goncalo Inacio. We've got a couple of subs on the bench as well that we want to give minutes to, so hopefully we can sort of get a couple of early goals in. We're on an attacking mentality. Hopefully we can, score 3 or 4 early on and get some of the youngsters on. Such as Lenny Yoro, for example, and I think it's offside. But if we can bring Lenny Yoro on, or different players like Mason Mount, Xavi Simons, who aren't getting many minutes at the moment, it will be good as some rotation, as it's just offside there. That could be something that we got wrong early on, and maybe that is the difference. Victor, who has already had a goal disallowed in the first half, scores on the corner with a header, is it? Looks like it came in. It looked like Dallo, but Victor does get the goal. Our 2 midfielders, our team not really sticking together there. Davis intercepted by Ahmad in this right back role. Inacio, let's see what he's got in his locker, and twice he's given the ball away actually, so that one leads to a goal, and we are in trouble here. We're going to go very attacking. We do not want to draw against Ipswich, but that is the second time in this game that Inacio has given the ball away. Does not need to do that there. An awful ball. Not sure what was going through his mind, and it looks like that could be the end of the game, unless in 4 minutes we have got something up our sleeve. We're going to put him as a winger on attack. We're going to bring him as a box-to-box midfielder, and we might as well go for this game. It's always the way. You beat City 5-1. You beat everyone the most amount you can. But when you come up against a team like Ipswich, you just can't beat them. And it might be similar to real life. They play a low block. It's hard to break down. But unfortunately, a 1-1 draw, it wasn't good enough. We're going to let Lenny Yoro go on loan. He can be recalled, which is obviously key if we do want to. But Lenny Yoro, our latest sign-in, or, one of our latest signings in real life, goes on loan over to Rangers. Chelsea versus Manchester United. We've even got our 2008 Champions League winning shirt on, so hopefully replay the result. Obviously not go to penalties, but we'll see if we can get the win. You can see here we're in decent form. No one has maximum points. Everyone has dropped points. So it's up to us to be the team to keep picking them up. We might get an early one here. Xerxes over to Dallo. Dallo can whip it across. Højlund's taken out, and Højlund has the chance to score a penalty. I think it's Rashford actually that is our penalty taker. It is awarded. Let's see how we do. Oh, it's Bruno Fernandes for some reason. Thought I put it as Rashford, but Bruno steps up. Inacio. Mainu dropping in deep, exactly how we want him playing those forward defence splitting passes. Garnacho scores. What a goal. 4 minutes in. Bruno Fernandes with the assist after missing the penalty, and Garnacho with a great finish. Brilliant from Mainu dropping in again. Nice wide fullbacks, a nice midfield three, or narrow three there, and then the 5 attackers across that line. Really, really good work. Great finish from Garnacho. 1-0 Manchester United. Just to show you, we are on key highlights. So the fact we haven't had a break yet shows how busy this game is going to be. Just like 2008, our young winger scores the opening goal and they get one back. Really easy goal to concede there. I'm not sure what was happening. Mainu loses the battle in the midfield, but I'm not sure why. There's just people left on their own. Not good enough. 1-1. What an opening to the game. Unfortunately, we pick up a draw against Chelsea away to Stamford Bridge. It's not the worst result in the world, but I do think we could have pulled a result off there. Maybe we went too defensive, but I'm not happy. We're going to tell them that we should have won that match. There's no excuse for doing so. And we jump into the next one. Always starting with a throw here. Nice little 4 with Mainu staying in between the centre-backs there. Nice and tight. But we got to make sure we stay in our shape and we don't just follow the ball or follow the men. Got to make sure that we move as a team. Victor here on the ball. He's been so good so far. And it continues. Was it onside? It looks like it was. The ball was played forward. But I'm certain he was behind the Tottenham defender. Hopefully... get him. What a goal. Really, really good work there from Rashford to win it. Victor again involved. What a signing he's been. Nice low cross ahead. And Højlund with the first time finish across goal. United 1-0 up. I like centre mid attack and it's obviously working. He's been brilliant this year. But sometimes I feel like the midfield is a little bit too disconnected. Oh my gosh. Destiny Udogie, a player that we are looking at as a potential replacement for Shaw in the long term. How has he pulled that off? Again, our midfield bare with just 2 in the middle maybe. Leaves Udogie with that opportunity in off the bar. But this massive gap here, I think, is starting to cause some problems. Or do we try and encourage the shorter pass? Because we know they're just naturally going to play the longer pass when it is on. It could be a tactic tweak that we're looking at, and it looks like it might be the one that works. Victor again involved. What a player he is. But we built out from the back, put it wide, back in, nice short pass in. Could that be the fix for some of our issues? I still think we have a defensive problem in here, but it's something we'll tweak. We can't really argue with how the season's going so far. Wan-Bissaka's having an absolute stinker, 6.2. So he's going to come off for Diego Dallo. We're going to keep the front 3 on. Potentially bring Garnacho off. But we'll have a look at what we do later. You know, leaving some gaps. There's 4 to 6 players back. We don't need all of those because that's what we need them for that counter-attack. We're going to very quickly make some subs. I do want to get Sancho involved a little bit more, but also Amad Diallo. But I'm going to bring on Sancho first because he needs some minutes. I'm going to bring on Diallo for Rashford. And then I'm going to bring on Rabiot, who again needs some sharpness. We do need to start getting these players in by Amad Diallo, who was absolutely fantastic in real life in pre-season yesterday. Sancho across to in the box, intercepted. Bruno again for another finish. That is why we have him on centre mid attack. Whoever said there was an issue with Bruno in the midfield? A very, very good goal yet again. Sancho over and Bruno finishes it. We don't even need to watch it again. That's how good it was. We are going to take him off and we're going to bring Mason Mount on. One last highlight here with someone down, the physio on the pitch. Don't know what's going on there. But with 15 minutes left, we're 4-1 up. This is exactly what we needed after 2 draws. And it is 4-2. The game is on. It's a competition I am not proud to be in. United should always be in the Champions League. I mean, we've said it before. They're going to go 1-0 up, yeah. They have. It's a competition. We should be in. I've got the Champions League shirt on. We're in the Europa League. It's not going to work when we're allowing Bruma just to dart off away from Dalot and just sneak in behind and get the 1-0 lead in the 3rd minute. In a game we should be winning. Get this ball forward, 10 minutes left, but I'm happy being patient with 10 to go. Xerxes over to Rashford. Look at the overlap of Malacia. Does feed that ball through to Victor. And if there's any man we can rely on this season, it is Victor Gyökeres. Brilliant work. Good ball from Malacia into, I believe, it was Garnacho. Let's find out here. Malacia. Oh no, it was Victor. Behind the player, first time, just like the Højlund goal last game. And can we encourage the boys to get another, or will it be Braga? Onana? That means a highlight is on the way. A great throw to Martinez. Here is the build out from the back. It's looking unbelievable. We're building a brilliant tactic here. Dalot, men in the middle. Can we get that cross in? We do. Victor, and there it is. Victor Gyökeres doing what he does best. Getting that well-deserved goal for Manchester United. We have absolutely peppered them. And a great build-out from the back. Martinez through the middle, out to Dalot. What a ball in. And Victor is proving signing of the season here. But after going 1-0 down, we took 80 minutes to get the goals. But we do get the win. And that is a top win to give us 3 points in the opening game of the Europa League alongside Anderlecht, and that deserves some praise. A 10 rated performance for Gyökeres. Well done. And we'll see how they start here with the build out from the back. It goes from Guehi to Dalot. Our deep line forward, Højlund dropping in over to Garnacho for Rashford. What a goal that was. We score in the 4th minute a lot. Back to front, Onana to Guehi, Guehi to Dalot, Dalot to Højlund, Højlund through to, I believe, Garnacho, our number 7, well deserved, whips it in, and Rashford with the header to make it 1-0. What a goal that is. That is exactly how we want to build out. But this is why we want competition. Lisandro Martinez, who we think is one of the leaders of the team, I think he's even our vice captain. Maybe we need him back because we have conceded to Anthony Gordon there. But we want that competition. And between the strikers, Xerxes being dropped. Victor's coming and he's dominating. But we have done very poorly there, leaving Gordon and on his own to run through. Maybe we need that man marking job yet again from Dalot. We might have to look into that as Jacob Murphy gets free. And maybe we do need to look at our defending. We've seen it over the past few games. They're getting in from the wings quite a bit. So it's something we can definitely look at. Looking at it quickly, players, I've certain I had them in coming in narrower on both sides just to support, just to close in. But we might need to look at what we do as well in the defensive line. Out of possession, do we try and get them on the wing, stop them coming inside? Do we try and trap them inside to stop the ball going out to the wing? I think we'll do this. Let's see how this works, because both wingers have become free quite easily today, but we are going to demand more just before the half, and we're also going to give an absolute shout at them. Manu, can you find this gap? Diallo sitting quite narrow, does pick it up, allows the overlap here from Dalot, but he doesn't need it. Victor Gyökeres again, what a signing he was. Gets the ball, takes a touch, I think controls it on his knee, and then finishes it in the top corner. But that's exactly where we want Ahmad, and you saw Dalot has all this room to go if needs be, and we can add that if we want. Overlaps in, we can ask him to do it. But we definitely need him doing it. Still supporting a little bit more, which is what we want. No foul given there against the Newcastle player. Can we rush back? I don't know what this person's doing here. Is it Garnacho? We need you to get back a lot quicker than that. Another frustrating draw. We are still unbeaten, obviously. Could potentially go invincible this season, but I don't know. I'm a perfectionist, so not getting the wins drawing games that, I don't know, we could have potentially won. We're identifying mistakes though. We did it very well against Braga, shutting off Bruma. We did it just there, sort of forcing them more narrow. They didn't have a chance after that. But we are obviously doing very well. We just finished a tough run of fixtures there, 4 games back to back. But with these games coming up, we have got Palace, Bournemouth. I don't really see a hard game until Arsenal here. So ideally, we pick up 3 points across all of these. A cup win as well against Palace. A couple of Europa League games. So it's going to be hopefully a decent run until we have quite a hard run again. Arsenal, Braga, City, Liverpool. So that is where we need to make it count. But you can see here we're 3 points behind top of the league. So we're doing well. But, you know, the perfectionist in me thinks we can do better.